Hey guys, welcome to Crypto Talk Now live with Larry. So grateful and appreciative that you are here joining me today on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Had another technical problem. That's why we couldn't start right away. Something similar to what happened yesterday. Actually, if you guys watched the last stream, the first like 7 or 8 minutes were cut off of the stream. So I'm not sure. I had a little trouble connecting StreamYard, but I am here now. Grateful you guys are here. So much to talk about with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, my first half of my prediction came true. I said that in the short term, Bitcoin would hit 23 or perhaps 24,000. It has done that in the last 24 hours. It has been as high as $24,270. Currently sitting at 23,665 and 70 cents. So here is the 1 minute chart. Let's say hello to a couple people here. Mrs. April Cornwell, so glad you've joined us. She says, hey, thank you so much for being here. Looking over at Bitcoin again, you can see there's a lot of volume. There's a lot of activity going on. And I wanted to point out something. As you guys know, you've heard me say it before. We're still waiting, or me at least, is waiting to see what the Fed does. What the Federal Reserve, that is, if they raise interest rates, they're supposed to. I think probably almost everybody expects them to raise rates. The question is going to be how much. So I'll read you this little article, read you part of this article, I should say. Let me just find the right tab here. Just bear with me. Here it is. Okay, so right here, thank you so much, courtesy of Yahoo Finance and via CoinDesk. The Fed is upside down on inflation, and that's a big risk. And here you can see Powell has come out again for another photo opportunity, or this is just an old picture. Right here, July 19th at 5:29 p.m. So this was yesterday. The last time the U.S. has suffered a nasty bout of inflation in the 1980s, the economic emergency was seen as so dire, the Federal Reserve, then led by Paul Volcker, jacked up interest rates by as much as 3 percentage points. So there's a history of this. All right, so this was back in the 80s. That's about 6 times the pace seen in more typical rate hiking cycle, where the Fed moves in 25 percentage points increments. So that's what I was saying. I thought that this would be an example this time around with them already raising rates last month, 75 basis points. I thought what they would do from this point forward was to increase them by 25 basis points, but I think I'm wrong about that. Goldman Sachs has come out and said they're looking at 75 basis points, at least possibly 100. So it says right here, unless we respond to the increase, which could be quite large in this period, we're going to have a real credibility problem. Donald Wynn, former senior official of the Federal Reserve Board, told Volcker at the Fed meeting in March 1980. This was back way long time ago. 1980, right? What was that, like 42 years ago? According to the meeting transcript. Okay, so now let's relate it back to the present time, 2022. Now there's a similar gap between inflation and the Fed funds rate, but the relationship is upside down. This is important here. Thank you so much, Yahoo Finance, by the way. Inflation surged to a fresh 4-decade high of 9.1%. This is where I'm trying to see if, in fact, crypto will deviate from the traditional equity markets. I'm not so sure. And the federal officials are worried, although several governors of the U.S. Central Bank have talked down the prospect of a 1 percentage point hike, right? 100 basis points, expressing their preference for 75 percentage point hike, 75 basis points. I don't know why they don't just say basis points, but I'm not sure. All right, a little bit tricky wording. Now, let's say hello to a couple more beautiful people. Hello to a good friend of the show. Appreciate you being here again, sir. Blue Whale Ricky, retail is FOMO for Bitcoin, for the fear of missing the boat. Therefore, a pump will not hold. That could be true. Blue Whale Ricky again. Hi, April. Well, if you can remember back, last couple weeks I've been saying in the short term, he said Bitcoin. We'll go back to Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin has hit the 24,000 mark in the last 24 hours, right? And currently at 23,738, up almost 2%, 1.72%. So the first part of my prediction has come true. In the short term, we would hit 23, 24, but I feel like there's going to be a sharp correction from here. And I think the catalyst for that correction, I could be wrong, is fears about the interest rate hike. There's a lot of other things going on as well, but let's go back to this article once again, continue on. Let's see. Last month, Fed officials published their fresh quarterly economic projections, or dot plot. And members of the Rate Setting Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC, right? That's when they're meeting again on the 26th, 27th. They don't point it out in this article, but I know that to be a fact. Expect federal funds rate to be at 3.4%, while inflation is forecasted to be at 5.2% by the year end. So that's still high inflation. Right now we're at 9.1. They're trying to, control it. This is the main way the Fed tries to control interest rates is by controlling inflation is what I'm saying. By raising interest rates. That's what they're trying to do. But I think that that's going to cause some stagflation. I don't think they're going to be slick enough to point it out here, but I could be wrong. The point is federal officials aren't moving with anything close to the urgency seen in the Volcker era. That's a risk, some top economists say. Okay. Here it is, quote, "We are close to an inflation emergency as we've been, and we are as close to an inflation emergency as we've been anytime in the past 40 years, said Michael Feroli. Hope I'm pronouncing his name properly. Feroli, chief U.S. economist at J.P. Morgan. Okay, trust J.P. Morgan. The only thing that's keeping it from being a full-blown, no-holds-barred emergency is that longer-term inflation expectations still seem reasonably well anchored." Okay, so that's what they're saying. All right, so let's see. The dynamic is being closely watched. This is why I'm pointing this article out. In the Bitcoin market, and they're not even calling it the crypto market. They're just going to say the Bitcoin market. Partly because, remember, a lot of people reading this are stock guys, right? Stock investors. Partly because the price performance of the largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization has recently been correlated with U.S. stocks. Thank you so much. Oh my God, they finally got it right. Somebody finally got it right. Can we please deviate from the traditional markets? I don't think so just yet. So that's the reason why I'm being cautiously optimistic when people are asking me about the start of the bull run. I'm just, it could be, but I'm being very cautious. I want the bull run to start, but at the same time, from a selfish standpoint, I want it to crash so I can get in and get at better prices, but with some additional cash. All right. So, okay. So I'm just trying to find my spot here. All right. So Bitcoin's been recently correlated with the U.S. stocks. Faster interest rate hikes will make bonds more attractive to investors. Higher borrowing costs will eat into corporate earnings. We're still waiting on some more corporate earnings reports, by the way, and slow the pace of investment, which could affect stock prices. The Bitcoin price is down 49% this year, currently at 23,351. Well, this is a little bit off. This is from yesterday. Dan Morehead, CEO of Pantera Capital, recently wrote that the difference between inflation and federal funds rate is larger than at any point in history. The rate currently sits where it was before the coronavirus pandemic, where inflation was at 2.3%. On Friday, University of Michigan survey showed that consumers see inflation running at 2.8% over a 5-year horizon, down from an expected 3.1% in June. Okay, so now here's where we talk about Powell a little bit. Let's get their thoughts on what they think Powell's going to do. However, currently, inflation is still running at a 4-decade high, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell has admitted that the U.S. Central Bank underestimated the pace of consumer price rises and was wrong about calling it transitory. He also repeatedly said the economy, thanks to a very hot labor market, is very strong, which is why many market participants predicted a 100 basis point, 1 percentage point hike in July. Okay. The Fed's current target is to get the federal funds rate to a longer run neutral rate of 2.5%, but minutes of the last FOMC meeting show that officials plan for the rate increases that would take the rate to 3.4% this year. Feroli, here's what he says. I think there's good reason for 100 to 125 basis points But I think one of the strongest reasons for 75 basis points is that 2 75 basis point hikes that are talking about June and now July maybe get you to neutral, and then you can start calibrating from there. All right, so let me skim down here. All right, so they're kind of, they're kind of giving us clues. I don't see it being less than 75 basis points. That's what I wanted to point out in this article. And also, this article does a good job saying that Bitcoin is still relying on these numbers. All right, so let's bring in Ricky again here. Blue Whale Ricky. I heard supposed to be a big burn tomorrow for Luna Classic, but I could be wrong. We'll see. Blue Whale Ricky, where is everyone? I'm not sure where everyone is. Blue Whale Ricky, I heard today on my stock crypto show today, Bitcoin will not go below 19. Well, they're wrong about that, but I disagree. You got to keep in mind who's saying that. Do they have a long position in Bitcoin? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, they might be right. You might be right. Right now, this is the top 100. Things are starting to pull back a bit. Bitcoin is still up about 2% on the day. Had a nice run this past week, 20%. Tim Shea says, hey, Tim Shea. So glad that you're here. So that was what was going on with the Fed. Now, here's some interesting news. South Korean authorities have raided 15 entities linked to Terra collapse report. So this is interesting. So they're starting to investigate what's going on with the exchanges. I think there's another article about it. Yes, prosecutors raid exchanges tied to Terra collapse. The company is said to be under investigation for running an alleged Ponzi scheme, among other transactions. All right, so it wasn't a Ponzi scheme, but they're just, saber rattling and all this kind of stuff. So we knew we knew all about this stuff. We knew they were going to be under investigation. So there's not much that we've learned new there. But I wanted to point out that it's hitting more news. It's hitting in the news cycle now. Bitcoin price hits 24,000, but analysts say on-chain data points to an inevitable pullback. The crypto market rally continues. This was just an hour ago. So this is pretty up to date. And thank you so much to Cointelegraph.com. Bitcoin price hits 24,000, but analysts say on-chain data points to an inevitable pullback. The crypto market rally continues, but analysts are on the fence about whether Bitcoin and Ethereum will slip back into range or push closer to higher time frame resistant levels. Okay. I'm not on the fence about it. I think that, I'm just waiting on those 2 days, the 26th and 27th for the Fed. And then I'll make my evaluation 7 days afterwards as to whether or not we're really in a bull run. Cryptocurrency investors continue to enjoy. All right. So on and on and on. Prepare for the inevitable pullback. Bitcoin's climb above 24,000 officially confirmed a breakout from previous trading range between 18 and 22.5. All right. According to Caleb Franzen, who posted this chart. Okay. Whale wallets remain dormant. One reason to be wary of the current rally's ability to sustain itself is a lack of whale wallet activity, according to on-chain research firm Jarvis Labs. Thank you for that. So let's see. I'm just trying to find stuff that follows my narrative because I think I'm right. And these guys that are saying we're going to 30,000 are wrong. In the short term, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's not going to go to 30,000 at some point. The high time frame trend remains bearish. The turnaround in sentiment over the past week was acknowledged by market analyst and swing trader Capo of Crypto, who noted that the low time frame trend is bullish, no doubt about it. But before jumping in on this rally, Capo of Crypto also posted the following chart warning that the high time frame trend is still bearish and is another lower high. Okay, so that's what they're saying from a technical analysis standpoint to guys that do some technical analysis. You can pretty much, you can find anything you want. You can find people saying we're going to 30,000. You can find people saying that we're going to, Richard Hart says we're going to 11. So it just depends on who you want to listen to. Tim Shea, I've been looking for you. Laugh out loud. Thank you. Blue Whale Ricky was on TV, a top analyst I watch every day, and he's pretty smart. Okay. Blue Whale Ricky, Tim, maybe the problem I couldn't find today at 1 or 3. Yep. That's probably what it was, the time delay. Black Ranger Airsoft. Don't worry, I'm still here. Thank you. April Cornwell. Hey, Mike's at work, working so hard, moving buildings to a new lot. It's so hot too. Yeah. He's always been hustling. Yeah, it's hot here as well. It's a heat wave going on here as well. Blue Well Ricky. Yes, April, he messaged me earlier today. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. This has just been a quick update. We've gone long enough for me to get in all the news, which there's really not much news that I'm seeing. And, it's the same old, same old. Some people are saying we're going up, and some people are saying we're going down. And I'm going to reserve judgment until the 26th, 27th. That's when the real news comes out for me in 6 days. 6 to 7 days from now, I'm going to be able to form a really good, I'm going to be able to fine tune my strategy based on what the Fed chairman says. All right. So thank you so much. Don't forget to tune in tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Max show. And I just said Max show. Max on Crypto Talk Now live tonight. Thank you so much. Take care.